A respected FBI agent buying coffee before a meeting was arrested instead because a manager said she did not look like she belonged, and a police officer claimed her badge was fake. Seattle would pay $6 million for what happened next. But how does everyday bias boil over into national outrage? And what changed after the city's costliest mistake? Jennifer Monroe's FBI career stretches across 16 years, marked by expertise in financial crimes, cyber investigations, and counterintelligence. Her colleagues know her as the agent who never misses a detail, someone trusted to testify before grand juries and to lead complex cases involving the Treasury Department and the Securities and Exchange Commission. She has trained new agents in forensic accounting, and her performance reviews consistently use words like meticulous and exceptional. Monroe's work earned her the Attorney General's Award for Distinguished Service, one of the highest honors in federal law enforcement. On the morning in question, Monroe was not just another customer with a laptop. She was a decorated federal agent, off-duty but disciplined, preparing for a confidential meeting. Her credentials and reputation made her presence in that Seattle cafe anything but out of place. At 7:50 that morning, the receipt from Peak Street Coffee showed Monroe's purchase: a large black coffee and a croissant. The cafe was packed as usual for a rainy Seattle weekday. Every table was full. A steady line of customers wound past the pastry case, and the sound of milk steamers cut through the low hum of conversation. Monroe picked a seat by the window, set out her laptop, and quietly worked through case notes for her upcoming meeting. Her blazer and blouse blended in with the business crowd, her focus on the screen no different from the freelancers and tech workers around her. She kept to herself, headphones in, making no calls and drawing no attention. For nearly 40 minutes, Monroe's presence was as ordinary as the clatter of mugs and the shuffle of umbrellas at the door. In that busy room, nothing about her stood out, except to someone determined to see her as an outsider. At 8:15 a.m., Assistant Manager Dylan Kershaw picked up the phone and dialed the non-emergency police line. His words became the official record. A black woman was described as loitering and making customers uncomfortable. Kershaw admitted she had bought a coffee, but insisted she was camped out and needed to leave. There was no mention of a disturbance, no report of threats or raised voices, just the assertion that her presence, laptop open, was a problem. The phrases used, loitering and making people uncomfortable, turned ordinary behavior into suspicion, coded in language that police dispatchers would recognize as grounds for intervention. Despite acknowledging the purchase, Kershaw's call framed Monroe as an outsider, transferring a private discomfort into the realm of law enforcement. Within minutes, the suspicion that started at a single table would be handed off to armed authority, setting the next chain of events in motion. Officer Craig Bartlett's name appeared again and again in the city's complaint files, 11 times over a 10-year career. 8 of those complaints centered on racial profiling or the use of excessive force against people of color. Internal affairs investigations documented stops of black families in city parks, confrontations with Latino teenagers, and repeated questioning of Asian residents for everyday activities. Supervisors described Bartlett as quick to escalate, slow to de-escalate, and in need of further training. Yet discipline rarely went beyond a written reprimand or a short suspension. Each warning was followed by another return to patrol, another chance for bias to shape a routine call. The department's own evaluations used soft language, results-oriented, but lacking community sensitivity. Even as the records stacked up, Bartlett remained in uniform, badge on his chest, ready to act on the next call that matched his pattern. That morning, the call from Peak Street Coffee would find him exactly where the system had left him, on the street, unchecked. Bartlett didn't bother with small talk. He demanded Monroe leave, his voice sharp enough to draw glances from nearby tables. Monroe kept her composure and reached for her credentials, flipping open the black leather case to reveal her FBI badge and photo ID. She spoke clearly, offering her name and her title, and she even suggested Bartlett call the Seattle field office to verify. He barely glanced at the badge before dismissing it outright. "Anyone can print a fake badge," he said, ignoring both the gold shield and the federal seal. Monroe repeated her status, but Bartlett shook his head, unmoved. His hand hovered near his cuffs. The authority of a federal agent, years of service, and an offer to verify, none of it mattered. Bartlett's mind was already made up. Monroe stood, shoulders squared, and spoke so everyone could hear. "I am complying under protest. I am Special Agent Jennifer Monroe, FBI." Her voice cut through the cafe's chatter as Officer Bartlett snapped the cuffs tight around her wrists. The metal bit into her skin, but she did not flinch. Patrons reached for their phones, recording as Monroe was led past half-finished coffees and stunned faces. Bartlett listed the charges: trespassing and resisting an officer, while Monroe's laptop and purse sat abandoned on the table. In that moment, her calm refusal to resist became part of the public record, captured on dozens of phones and echoing through the room. 1. Arrest cost $6 million, but unchecked bias costs far more every day. True accountability demands vigilance, not settlements. Change starts where silence ends. What would you challenge next?